Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This evening we are having some chili dogs. I had the crave for chili dogs, and on my chili dogs, of course I have chili, but on two of them I have armor chili, and then on the third one I have Joey Chestnut's coney dog sauce, and then of course I gotta have mustard on my chili dogs, and then I got a buttload of onions because I just love onions. And then I got some scoops over here with some salsa. So yeah, let's hope I can eat all this. I should be able to. My husband's like, how many hot dogs you want? I was like, 3. Alright, look at that. But I'm hungry, so yeah, let's get to it. That's so good. I love chili dogs. You? So how was work?
Good.
Good. Was it easy?
Yep. Yep. Steady.
Do you guys have any leagues or anything going on? I forgot a napkin, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I never knew when they got what they were. I just know they were steady, busy.
Okay. So when are we gonna do the live, honey?
When are we gonna do live, honey?
You guys kick me in the butt.
You tell me.
I want to do a live when he's off work, and it's so busy a lot of times, and it's like the day just gets away from me. Or it's like a day that, you know, when he's off, he just, you know, want to relax or whatever, be lazy, watch movies or whatever, and it's like the day just gets away from us. But I'm like, I need to make time for the live, and I'm like, come on. I'm thinking we should have it Thursday night. Think so?
Well, you better.
You'll be off.
No, don't do it then.
Do it then? Alright guys, Thursday at 8:30, we will be going live. So stay tuned and keep a watch out for my notification of going live at 8:30. And if you guys can join, that's great. And if you can't, you'll be able to watch it later. So, yeah. It's so good. My husband, instead of eating salsa, he's eating Totino's queso cheese.
Cheese salsa.
Cheese salsa. I like the cheese salsa, but I love salsa. Regular salsa.
Need some homemade salsa.
Yes, that's the best. Did I tell you what happened about maybe a couple hours ago in Kokomo?
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. crazy. Kokomo Scanner posted on Facebook, which I know it's legit because it's from the police department, Kokomo Scanner. But I guess there was this girl. I don't know what her age was or anything. Which it really doesn't matter because what happened is horrible. I hope she's okay and I hope they catch her and everything turns out for the good. But she was walking down the sidewalk and she had a flashlight, and I guess some van pulled over and like I guess these people grabbed her and threw her in the back of the van, and she was screaming and just took off. So they're looking for this van. Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm crazy, man. I kind of had one of those instances when I was in high school, but it wasn't like, it didn't follow through like that. Plus it was during the day. But, it was my senior year. And, my parents were at work and everything, and all day we were going to do testing for the graduation qualifying exam. You've got to pass it in order to graduate. I don't know if you guys have it anywhere else, but here in Indiana you got to do that. But so I was at school and I was testing all day, and we got out early. Instead of like 2:05, we got out like at like 11:30. And so I don't live very far from the school, and so I was gonna walk home. Well, on the way home, we lived in like this kind of, it's where these houses you get built, you know, and housing addition and everything. Me, my parents, and my siblings, we lived in this housing addition, and it was a really nice house. And I was almost home, maybe a block away, but I was almost home, and like I was just walking away, you know, minding my own business, you know, and glad to be out of school early and everything like that. And all of a sudden this guy in his car pulled up, and he had his window down already, and I stopped, you know, because I'm like, who's this, you know? I stopped, and maybe I shouldn't have stopped, but he had his window down, and he says, hi. He said, hi. I was like, hi. You know, I was friendly, you know, try not to act like I was being, you know, intimidated or anything like that. But, and he was like, he was like, would you like a ride? And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I'm fine. It's a beautiful day and I'm enjoying, you know, walking. And I don't have very far to walk. He's like, are you sure? He's like, I don't mind to drive you wherever you need to go, you know. And I'm like, no thank you. And I just started walking. And I could see like out of my peripheral vision, like on the side, like I didn't have my head all the way turned looking at him, but I could see, you know, the front end of his car, and he was going like really slow. And you know, I started to get like really, really nervous. Like, okay, what is this guy doing? What's his intentions, you know? And I know it says don't talk to strangers, but you know, maybe I shouldn't have talked to him, but I didn't want to make it sound like I'm like flipping out and everything like that. But I started to flip out a little bit. But I didn't want him to see that. But I just started walking and everything. And I'm thinking, okay, nobody's home at my house, so I'm not going to my house. Because if this guy sees me go in and he realizes nobody's home, then yeah. I've seen too many horror movies and too many kidnapping, cold case files and all that stuff, so I'm like, Well, across the street, we knew the people across the street. It was a police officer, and of course he has his police dog and everything, but it was a police officer home. And I don't know if he was home or whatever, but instead of going into my house, I went across the street and acted like I was going into his house. Well, next thing I know, the guy just went on and went around the bend. And I made sure that he wasn't coming back, and I went into my house. But I went back to my house and unlocked the door and went in and locked it and everything. And I actually was like looking out the windows and everything because I was freaked out. I was by myself. And, yeah. So that was a scary time. And that was back like in, because I graduated in 2006, so that was back in 2006. So I can't imagine what this girl was. I can't imagine. I can't. I don't know how old she was or anything, but it doesn't really matter. Any kidnapping is just.
I really hope they can find her. And get those whoever took her. Yeah.
That's why I'm so like protective with my kids. And some people's like, well, you're really protective. Well, at least I know where my kids are at. And I know they're safe. You know, I don't want to ever experience that if I don't have to. And I would make every way possible not to. And if that's the case of going out and watching even my teenage son or my teenage daughter, I don't care. They might get tired of mom being out there or tired of mom watching, but, you know, I'm going to be watching like a mama hawk watching her birds, you know? Mm-hmm. That's scary. Like, I guess it was some dark van, but I get creeped out with creepy vans anyway. Like, if I see a creepy van, I'm running.
Like the kidnap scenes from movies. Like
Yeah.
creepy vans.
Yeah, I've seen too many cold case files, too many kidnapping, too many forensic files, too many scary movies, and a lot of majority of the kidnappings involve a creepy van.
We heard a story on Mr. Ballin. Shout out to Mr. Ballin. You have to watch him, but it's a crazy story about like that. The girl goes in the guy's van and all the other stuff happens. It's crazy. You have to watch it. Check out Mr. Ballin's channel.
Yeah.
And subscribe to my mommy's channel.
Has any scary things ever happened to you guys like that? As a kid, teenager, whatever? That's so scary. I hear a lot of stories.
I like watching that stuff and figure out the mysteries.
And you know, there's times that I think to myself, what if this guy actually try to get out of his vehicle and actually try to get me and everything? Like, my parents weren't even home. Like, they wouldn't even, which they were working, and I was a teenager, so I was old enough to be home by myself, but I was probably 17, 18, so that's old enough, you know. I think I was like 17 or maybe 18. I can't remember, but I know I was in senior year. So I was probably 18, so I was considered an adult, but still. This guy could have kidnapped me, and it would have been hours later. My parents wouldn't even, you know. It was creepy.
I'm glad you didn't win.
It was broad daylight, too. It was broad daylight, too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I thought they would wait for nighttime for nobody really
It doesn't
sees.
have to be that. Mm-mm.
But they don't care. Well, nobody's around. Kind time of year.
People don't walk around at midnight.
No. Well, it happened. Well, recent.
They kidnap people when they're walking around.
Last one.
Creepy bands.
I saved Joey Chestnut's one for last. His sauce. You done?
Yep. Stuff.
Babe, have you ever had any creepy things happen? I don't know if it I know it happens to males too.
Yeah.
Not just girls.
It always sounds like always the girls, right? Young girls like
Because it's happened to, there's a lot of famous cases out there.
Yeah, boys.
And young boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing comes to mind. I mean,
Are lucky. Are so scary.
Thought you did that.
no, I've never had nothing like that happen to me. Yes, I've never had anything really creepy happen.
I got some more creepy stories. If you guys would like to know, just comment down below. And I just tell them anyway.
I've never had
Sometime. And they're true stories too.
Daddy told us something that if somebody like, you know, tells you to go in the car and they tell you like, and they do something like they really want you to come in the car and you're like about to do something and you're like, it's better to run because if you're in the car they might do something to you later.
Yeah.
It's better to run.
Yeah.
And then cars they probably do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And take your chances.
Yeah, well, Mom always told me
Even if they have a gun, take
yeah,
your
if they had
chances.
a gun, don't just go ahead and run anyway, because even if they say, well, I'm going to shoot you if you run, it's better to take your chances, because if you do get in the car with them, chances are they're going to, you know, you're in danger anyway. So it's better to just turn around and run and stay in a group.
You know what?
Me and my brother and my sister, we always stayed in a group. Or when I was with my cousins, we always stayed in a group. I was with the neighbor kids, we stayed in a group, you know. We weren't alone.
Well, when I was younger, I had me and my best friend Holly. I'm sure she don't mind me saying her name. I won't say the last name though, but me and my best friend Holly, we lived. This is when I lived in Iowa. We lived in a small town, kind of like where we live now, and we just go all over. But I was always with her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were
You know,
all over
it
the
was.
place, but
I always was always with her.
I always had somebody to get
And I mean, yeah, stuff could have happened, but I mean, I guess
It's
she
more
didn't.
unlikely to happen if you're around
Yeah.
people than if you're by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, I was with her, so they would have to try to get two people instead of one. So I mean,
And they don't want people to identify them and things like that, you know. So they're not going to want go after people that are all in a group of people, you know. But if you're by yourself, then that's
more chances of something happening.
yeah.
But yeah, I just had to share that because that just happened.
Something kind of funny, a little funny story. I was telling somebody, I don't know why I was telling this, but apparently I was describing the things that I carried in my van, and I think we were talking about having things with you to, for like, in case you need them, you know, if you break down and things like that, and so I keep my tools in my van, and I had inside my tools were all these my stepdad gave me a bunch of zip ties. And these zip ties, I just threw them in there with my tools. I just threw them in there with my tools. And, you can use them for anything. Go camping or whatever. Or you can use them, and I've always been like a survivalist type person anyway. So keep things like, that you need to, if you're in a survival scenario or whatever. But I kept these zip ties and I had them in my tools. And then I had these gloves in my van because it was COVID, going on and everything. I had these gloves in my van because, whenever you touch a gas pump or whatever, everybody was all freaked out about catching COVID. So I had these gloves in my van because I had that COVID kit and stuff like
I
that.
see where this is
So
going.
I was describing having these things to a friend of mine. And my friend's like, Shane, why do you have gloves and zip ties and tools, creepy stuff in your van?
That don't sound. Now, if you had the tarps and everything else like that, and rope and all that, I'd be like, okay.
I don't have rope, no. I do have like a survival paracord stuff, but I don't have that in the van. It's like in my camping equipment. But
Good Lord.
if I was camping, I'd have that in the van.
If something ever happened to somebody else and
So the cop stopped your van and he's looking in there for some reason.
and something happened to somebody else, like around town or somewhere, and you were in the vicinity and they stopped you and seen all that,
You got the gloves.
they're trying to find a
You got gloves and zip ties.
person.
Tools. And
A missing person or something. They're like, you're suspicious, nose. You have all this stuff in your car. And I have it.
Oh
It's
my.
funny. So yeah, he was like, "Why do you have zip ties and gloves in your van?"
Oh my.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not for that, right? No. But anyway, guys, thank you all for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys like any more story times, I do have some story times. Just let me know. And yeah, if this is the first time you're seeing my channel, please consider liking, comment, and subscribing. I truly would appreciate it. And don't forget to comment down below and press that like button and that notification bell. And yeah, this was delicious and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, my loves.
Bye, my love.